One key lesson from the Mann Gulch fire is that acting on uncertainty can create catastrophic risk. Even when teams are highly skilled, the smoke jumpers jumped without a contour map, lost their radio, and lacked real-time information about terrain, wind, and fire behavior, yet still proceeded with a suppression strategy. In healthcare and life sciences, this translates into the need for reassessment when critical data are missing. Organizations should build protocols that require escalation, additional data gathering, or contingency plans rather than defaulting to rapid action simply because speed is valued. Critical thinking in crisis should prioritize situational awareness over momentum. The smoke jumpers' overconfidence contributed to the normalization of risk and a belief that they could handle what appeared to be a routine fire. Similarly, highly trained clinicians, scientists, or regulatory teams may underestimate rare but severe risk because of past successes or expertise. Healthcare organizations should encourage humility, dissent, and devil advocacy in high-stakes decisions. At Mann Gulch, the absence of codified firefighting rules, standardized escape plans, and reliable communication led to confusion, fragmentation of the crew, and failure to follow Dodge's escape fire. In healthcare and life sciences, this underscores the importance of standardized operating procedures, crisis playbooks, and clear chains of command, especially during emergencies such as patient safety events, manufacturing failures, or product recalls. Teams should have pre-established decision frameworks: who decides what, with what information, under what conditions, and redundant communication systems to avoid breakdowns when stress is high. The Mann Gulch fire reminded me of a situation in the workplace where our team went into an internal audit. The entire quality systems teams had just turned over and we had received a new manager. We had prepped for this internal audit and reviewed the documentation and reviewed the audit plan, and we're really confident going into this internal audit knowing that this was an area with surgical procedure kitting that didn't have a lot of what we would deem to think that were problems or areas that could be cause for concern during an internal audit. And in the past, we had never gotten more than 2 minor audit findings. This team had never worked together before for an internal audit. 2 of the 3 quality system specialists were new to the company and had never been in an internal audit before. The new manager had worked in this division with surgical procedure kitting, but had not worked with the quality system specialist before. And the leadership decision was made that one of the quality system specialists didn't need to travel for this audit, and another one would only sit in the audit for 2 days and then were allowed to go home for the rest of the week. This resulted in a breakdown of how the information was provided, a lack of reviewing the documentation as they were pulled, not answering the auditor's questions or missing some of the questions. At the end of this audit, we had 2 major audit findings and 6 minor audit findings, which was the highest and the worst performance that this team had ever had before. This resulted in us having to reflect on a performance where the failures were in both leadership and followership. Going forward, we had developed a framework of how we intake the questions, how we process them, how those are assigned, and measuring not only how quickly we can provide that information, but how accurate the information that we're providing is. Huge learning lessons like this should come out of the Mann Gulch fire, which it did, as well as within this internal audit example. With the data that we now have because of this internal audit, we're able to prepare better going forward.